Good morning, good evening, and good day. You're listening to Drama Buds, an anime podcast. So hello everyone. Welcome to today's episode of Drama Buds, our very first recap episode of the year where I just talk about all the K-dramas I've watched in the past 3 months, in the first quarter of this year. So before we start, let's do the count of how many dramas I've watched. It was a bad quarter for me, a very slow quarter. So past 3 months, I've watched, my Q1 total is 8 dramas. Of all the dramas released or finished in 2022, I have watched 1. I've finished 1. And my all-time overall total of all the dramas I've ever watched, 95 K-dramas. I'm approaching my 100th K-drama and it has to be a good one, okay? Let's celebrate that milestone when we get there. So to quickly list down all the shows that I've already fully reviewed on the podcast, I already reviewed On the Verge of Insanity, The Red Sleeve, and My Country, The New Age. You can go back and listen to all of those for all of my thoughts on them. But yes, those were the ones that deserved the review so far this year. Now, let's go to all the K-dramas that I finished and weren't released this year, but I didn't have enough thoughts to make a full review episode on them. First, we have Rain or Shine on Netflix, also known as Just Between Lovers. Honestly, no thoughts, head empty. I just watched this for the sake of it. I like Won Jin-ah and I like Lee Jun-ho, so they were cute together. That's always fun to watch. I honestly didn't pay attention to the work stuff, like building the monument or memorial or something. I honestly did not pay much attention to it, and that's most of the show. To me, what stood out to me was that this is a very classic K-drama setup. Something dramatic happened when they were children, and that's where they first met, and then somehow it brings them together when they're adults, but then when they find out about it, it keeps them apart again, and then we have, some terminal illness, some tragic stuff. Like, it's a melodrama. It's very melodramatic. And so I feel like I just wasn't watching it with as much focus as I could have. But it's not bad. I think it's an okay melodrama. Yeah, that's all I can say about that. Next, we have, Persevere Guhera. Have you guys even heard of this? It's like an Mnet drama, an Mnet music drama. This and Monstar, the mid to early 2010s. Okay, it was a weird time. But honestly, I only watched this because it's Kwak Siyoung's debut. What? Not his debut. Was it? Whatever, he auditioned for this, okay? And he was singing and dancing. I only watched this to see him sing and dance and just laugh at it. I was not disappointed. There was much to laugh at. This show is so bad. Like, do you ever just watch a show knowing that it's bad and just appreciating how bad it is? I'm not even trying to be like, oh, it's good for these reasons, blah, blah, blah. Like, no silver lining. It's badly made, badly acted, badly shot, badly written. Like, it is what it is. And it's okay. At times, I felt like it was not copying, but channeling, Reply 1997 with the sense of humor and the editing. What else? Terrible writing. The characters are ridiculous. So much of this would not fly in 2022. Not even 2018, maybe. I mean, really. But you know what? Okay, fine. There is a silver lining. The songs are great. They actually are good singers, good performers. So, yeah. I wish they still made music dramas like these. Maybe that's what idol dramas are doing for the industry, right? Bringing back the music aspect. So the next show that I watched this year, technically a rewatch, Dr. Romantic 2. I binged this in 4 days. Because I don't know, I think I finished my studies. I finished something. And I said, as a reward to myself, I will binge watch Dr. Romantic 2. And it's worth it. Like, this used to be one of my honorable mention K-dramas. Like, of all my top 5 K-dramas, I didn't add this, but it was kind of on the short list. After rewatching it, I can confidently put it in my top 6. Okay, genuinely one of my favorite K-dramas of all time now. It got even better as I rewatched it. Because, like, the pacing is excellent, the directing, the acting. And what I love about it is that although, like, external conflicts were introduced through the patients and, like, the hospital politics, whatever, their internal struggles, like, the core of everything, they've been teased, they've been addressed and resolved. Like, from the very beginning, these characters really have arcs. Just the pacing of the show, it's so engaging. All throughout, all 16 episodes. I can confidently say that. And I didn't just like the new characters, I loved them. And then all the old characters that were still there, I loved them more. Like, you can really feel that this whole cast behind the scenes became really close and that they really wanted to go back to this project and work on it. Because I just felt it. I love it here. I love Dr. Romantic 2. Dr. Romantic 3, hello, please. When is it happening? And can Yang Sejong please be the male lead? If we're not going to bring back the other four and, you know, if we're not gonna add like a new lead pair, let's just bring back Yang Sejong, please. I beg you. Okay, next K-drama that I watched was Miss Korea. Have you guys heard of this? 2014 is technically ancient, you know, in today's standards. I had low expectations for this because, of course, 2014 drama, 20 episodes. Come on, you know what I'm going to say about that. But Miss Korea, like, went above and beyond what I expected. The listener who recommended this to me described it as their comfort drama. And, like, I did not expect that I, too, would feel that way about the show. I mean, at 20 episodes, 1 hour each, I finished it in 8 days. You know me, I take forever to finish dramas if I'm not like 100% into it or if I don't specifically decide to binge it, right? But yeah, 8 days, 20 episodes. I skipped scenes, okay? I only focused on like the stories and characters that I liked. But in a way, this is kind of slice of life-ish, right? Like the pageant, the Miss Korea pageant, it wasn't entirely the point. And we had these strong characters. We had interesting relationships. And that's really the core of it all. And what I love about the show really is that there were so many points where they could have added unnecessary conflict between the main pair. And like, it would be normal. I'd roll my eyes, obviously. I'd be a little frustrated. But like, I just accept that that's how K-dramas are. You could have, you know, the usual noble idiocy, miscommunication, pettiness, the usual. But this show did not do that, right? They had healthy communication. They felt genuine happiness and genuinely supported each other. These main characters, they're like, during the IMF crisis, you know, suffering financially and like entering the Miss Korea pageant was like their final shot to try and save their cosmetics company. And sometimes I thought like, aren't these characters just being stubborn by not accepting financial help being given to them, because some people are trying to buy them out of competing in Miss Korea. But like they stuck to this high risk, high reward decision because they know that they're looking for what I'd say a long-term solution to their problems, something like that. It's a lovely watch. And I love that it didn't end when the Miss Korea competition, like the coronation night, happened. Like, they had, like, 5 more episodes after that. Which just tells me, like, it's really not about the pageant itself. It's not really about the competition. It's about these characters, their lives, and, you know, the way they struggle to survive during a difficult time like this. I would like to shine a spotlight on Director Ma. She's one of the queen makers, like one of the major sponsors, I guess, or trainers of beauty queens, pageant contestants in the show. I love her because she's not the typical cutthroat antagonist. Like, she knows what she's doing, but actually she really cares about these girls that she's putting through this. And that's why they respect her so much. I really love how she always tries to protect her girls, given how exploitative, you know, the industry could be. So yeah, Miss Korea is just a very odd, rare gem that I'm very happy I watched. And the last K-drama I watched but did not review was 30 But 17. I randomly decided to start watching this. Very random decision. And I ended up binging 4 episodes in a day. And I just absolutely loved it. Okay, these characters, they're just it's such a wholesome experience. They're very wholesome people. They're lovely. They're weird. It's true found family. Like, they really drive the point home that this is a found family show. It's very pleasant just being with these characters. It's a pleasant and peaceful watch. Like, I don't care if the pace is really slow and there's really not much going on, because I want to stay here with these characters and then be with them for as long as I can. I totally relate to Husori, the main character, played by Shin Ye-sun. I relate to her just waking up and suddenly she's an adult. Like, the world sees her as an adult and, she's supposed to know everything when to her, she was literally just 17 yesterday when she went to sleep. And then she woke up and she's an adult now. Relatable content, Husori. But, okay, going to Shin Ye-sun, she's insane. She is so good. Like, I immediately believe that she is a 17-year-old in a 30-year-old's body. The last time I watched her was in Mr. Queen. I didn't finish that. Where she was, a modern day man in a, historical, whatever era queen's body. Okay? Like, she is good at these roles. She's amazing. What else? Okay, Yang Sejong. Honestly, I watched this for him. Okay, and my love for him in My Country, the New Age, it's very fresh. Like, I still see him as my Sohee who has gone through so much. But I love him just as much here. Gong Jin, I love him. I adore him to bits. I love how he just alternates between being super grumpy and then being his true self, who is just an absolute weird softie like the rest of them. And who else is in the cast? Oh, An Yo-sop. I'm going through my An Yo-sop face right now. Okay, it's so weird to watch him as Yu-chan here, and then every Monday, Tuesday, I watch him as Kang Tae-moo in Business Proposal. Okay, it's so funny, but he's so adorable here. I'm happy that he can do this kind of comedic acting as well. Like, his character is such an adorable puppy boy here. I love watching him. Things I did not like about the show, however, you just have to tolerate people like missing each other constantly. Like, if they had turned their head a little bit, or if they had stayed for like 5 more seconds, they would have met this person and figured out the truth, blah, blah, blah. Those usual missed chances to meet each other, and then you have to tolerate everyone being connected to each other through some childhood trauma accident. You know how it is. There's a lot of noble idiocy here also, a lot of miscommunication, although they do try to communicate and apologize as much as they can, but the problem still starts because they refuse to communicate in the first place. I didn't like that the last few episodes were flashback dumps, I swear. And it got a little boring, towards the end. But I still cared enough about the characters to keep watching. I wish they revealed things little by little instead of like all at once at the end. 3 episodes full of flashbacks. But the ending was still nice because it really, once again, doubled down on found family feelings and saying goodbye to all these weird characters who were brought together and now have to part ways in the end. So those were all the shows that I watched in the first quarter. Okay, so I only finished one show that was released or stopped airing in 2022, and so far that is Juvenile Justice. Okay, first of all, Kim Hye-soo is phenomenal. Like, Shim Un-sok, I am terrified of that character. And she's obviously completely different from Gumja in Hyena, and also different from Signal, who I thought like this character would be similar to. Very different. I like both of those characters. Shim Un-sok, I'm terrified of. Yeah. Okay, second, many disagree with the punitive justice that the show espouses versus like rehabilitative justice. But I felt like the show was leaning kind of morally gray or even amoral. Like, they're simply following the law while also trying to help whoever Shim Un-sok identifies as the victim in the case. I don't think it helps that they depicted particularly heinous crimes, like really extreme cases in the show. So it would seem more justified for her to take an extreme stance against juvenile offenders. And then her trauma with juvenile offenders, like she's not impartial, it doesn't also help with that. But I always felt like the show tried to show both sides of the situation, but like Shimun-sok is the protagonist, and that's why it seems like her principles are being touted as what's right. So I'm still chewing on that. Maybe it's like a your mileage may vary type of show, depends on how you interpret the morals or what the themes of the show, what it's teaching are. Yeah, okay. Aside from that, third point, my favorite episode was episode 4 because of Yumyeran, who I was just so happy to see again. She's phenomenal as always. And I love how they visually depicted unreliable narrators. Okay, that was super interesting. You gotta watch that episode. I guess my criticisms of the storytelling and the characters, in some cases, were stronger than the others. They're definitely way too slow at some parts. What else? Lee Jong-un's character was introduced so late into the show, and I feel like it was wasted. Like, we didn't get to see really how she interacted with Shimun-sok as much. Like, her perspective wasn't nearly explored enough. What else? Cha Tae-ju, Kim Woo-yeol's character, was not her equal. This is not a they're learning from each other type of relationship. So he was also kind of wasted in a sense for me. And their backstories, like, I knew she had something against juvenile offenders because something happened to her. And him being a juvenile offender himself, like, also pretty predictable. But in general, I didn't absolutely love the show, but it may be my second favorite Netflix original after DP. DP is still my favorite Netflix original so far. We'll see. I will love you through the pain, 'cause you love me just the same. Doesn't matter where you are, I'll be running back to you. You've been loved me through. Alright, let's go to all the shows that I dropped. And this time, I didn't just list down the ongoing shows that I dropped. As long as I watched around half of the show, or I feel like I've gotten a good enough grasp on what the show was about and what it was going to be before I dropped it. Like, I also listed it down here. First, we have Uncle, the Oh Jung-se one. I liked it at first. First 5 episodes. I only watched 5 episodes. I liked it at first because of like the sweet dynamic between Oh Jung-se and his nephew, and the music was also cute. But then I easily got tired of the Sky Castle-esque scheming makjang parts. Like, if I'm gonna watch something dramatic, I want it to be full dramatic. I want to watch Sky Castle, essentially. But if you're gonna go halfway into it, I'd rather not. Next show I dropped was Clean with Passion for now. I reached up to episode 12 here, alright? I made it really, really far, in fairness to me. I enjoyed the start a lot, actually. Look, it's a CEO romance type of mood for me. You know how it is. I like the CEO romance, okay? I was okay with that. I like this director's style. I like how they do things, and I like their music choices. Guess who this director is? That's right, it's the director of Idol The Coup. You see the pattern here. But yes, I like their style, I like their music choices. And I did like the characters' internal journeys at the beginning. I did not care about the second lead as I usually do, and I started skipping scenes because every time I saw him, just like, I don't care, dude. You have no chance here. Get out. But I fully started skipping scenes in episode 10 because I didn't like how the dynamic changed when they added the forced cohabitation trope. Hey, it's a trope I like, but it changed the dynamic of the characters, and it changed like who Kim Yoo-jung's character, who she interacted with, because I liked her interactions with her coworkers, but then she got trapped into being his maid, his house helper, I don't know. And then they just became super cheesy, but then they also danced around their feelings a lot. Like, it just got boring. Many said it got really bad in episode 13 onwards. So if I'm like not enjoying by episode 12, or episode 10 even, might as well just drop. So I did. But yeah, at least I tried. Next show I dropped was Rookie Cops. I got up to episode 6, I think. I was hoping that this would be what I wanted Police University to be, late last year. But it's kind of the same thing for me. Honestly, I picked it up to see what the Kwak Shiyang cameo was going to be about. But it was weird that they started the show out with this super dark flashback and then barely revisited his character until episode 5. So it's like totally forgettable until they bring it back. Jae Subin, I like her. It's my first time actually watching her, I think. She was carrying the show, acting-wise. But I hate her type of character. The idealistic type, and then they're in a rotten system. And she just keeps saying, I wanted a fun university experience. Girlie, why are you here? Why are you trying to be a police officer when you just wanted a fun university experience? You could have used your studying time to at least attempt to get into a normal university instead of going here for your stupid crush and then getting, annoyed or getting yourself into trouble because, I don't know, it's just a messed up system. Why do you have to participate in it? Ugh. And then Kang Daniel, I won't even criticize him. Okay, he has no charisma as a male lead, but I won't criticize him for it. It's his first drama. Let's let him be. Whatever. Okay. Next show that I dropped was Suits, the Korean version. Got up to episode 7. Man, what I liked about this is that I feel like it started out more heartwarming than the US version, as Korean remakes often do, and I always appreciate that. Although don't quote me on that because I did not watch Suits, the US version. Okay, I have no qualifications to say that. But anyway, something I noticed about the show. Suits has the same writer as Hush, the one with Hwang Jung-min and Yuna from early 2021. And Suits has the same strengths and weaknesses in the writing. Though there are some good moments, good lines, there are these nuggets of wisdom and really good writing that you feel like, man, this can be good. In general, they talk so much, and I'm not sure where the overall story is headed or if they're just going case by case. Although I appreciate that Suits went case by case instead of, doing one dragged out case the way Hush did. Directing wise, although the style is good, sometimes it's draggy. Stylistically, they have these long takes, right? Where the characters are just talking. And I feel like it is cool in a way. And it does, challenge the actors a little bit. I see where it's going stylistically. It's just a little boring at times. Acting-wise, they say a lot. Who's this? Chang Dong-gun and Park Kyung-sik. They say a lot. And sometimes the delivery is so flat for both of them. But I don't know if that's because their lines are so dense and they have these long takes. I don't know, man. If the directing style is also making it difficult for them. By episode 7, I was still waiting for it to get good. I was just holding on because I wanted it to be good, but really I was bored. And so I just decided to drop it. So here's an update on all the shows that I reviewed in my first impressions month all throughout May. Forecasting Love and Weather, you know what happened here. I dropped it after episode 6. I wanted to drop it starting from episode 3, but I just stuck around for the review. Maybe it would have gotten good by then, but it didn't, okay? I really just don't like or even care for Song Kang and his character. So even Park Min-young, who I want to watch her, I want to watch her so bad, but she can't save this for me, okay? And storytelling-wise, to me, it's Nevertheless 2.0. And listen, okay? It's because, there's so many characters and they all have their own stories, blah, blah, blah. And sometimes that's charming. Sometimes I like that. But most of the time, that's just done because the main leads, their main story, isn't substantial enough for, the 16 episodes that they booked. That's what this is to me. And maybe if you cared about the characters, all the characters and all their stories, you could stick around and there's some nuggets of wisdom and writing and blah blah. Maybe you like it, but I think I just want something very plot heavy or with a smaller main cast that has meatier stories. Crazy Love, I reviewed a few weeks ago. I dropped that after episode 4. Once again, I felt like there was just too much going on, and I'm not a fan of the tone of the show. I felt like it was more serious, not as wacky, not as crazy as I wanted, and I don't know, it was just taking too long to get to the point. Next show that I dropped, 39. Finally, in episode 8, I decided to just call it quits and give up. Okay, it's insane. I'm sorry. It's insanely boring to me. I cannot stand it. Like, I am not invested at all in the characters. The editing is really choppy. Like, none of their stories are coming together. And I really dislike how it's not even about the 3 girls. It's about Mijo. It's about Son Ye-jin's character and her 2 friends and what they're going through. Like, making Chanyong the happiest terminal illness patient in the world. No, it's about Mijo and her friend Chanyong, who has a terminal illness, and their other friend who's barely there. See, like, there's no point sticking around with these characters when they barely, face any growth. And we all know, like, Chanyong's gonna die anyway. And yeah, if you don't like the journey and you already know the destination, just drop it. Last show I dropped was Grid. Oh, I'm so sorry, Lee Soo-hyun. I think after episode 5, like, I just realized the pace, like the 1 episode a week pace, is really killing me. Because I'm not dutiful. I'm not, diligent enough to keep up with all the details and the theories or whatever. I feel like this would be better binged when I can get a full grasp of the story. And it doesn't help that no one else is really watching it, like, at least on Twitter or where I am. Like, I'm not really seeing anything about it. So it feels like I'm just watching this alone and I don't really fully understand anything and I can't keep track of things. So I decided to just wait for it to finish. And then I'll read up on it and maybe I'll pick it up when I can get a grasp of where the story was supposed to go. So yeah, those are all the shows I dropped. Alright, so what are the shows that I'm currently watching? First, we have 2521. I'm gonna finish this, definitely. We've made it this far. I like it. It's well written, directing's gorgeous. It took me a while to warm up to the romance between Becky Jin and Nahido. Given that she's a high schooler and acts less mature than one most of the time. But, like, it's fine, I guess. You just have to accept it. And, the show took its time. They didn't really jump into it and they really tried to flesh out their friendship, their relationship, and all that. In general, I just have no energy to engage in discourse about it. So, yeah, I just accepted it. Okay, I understand, like, his love for her isn't the passionate or sexual kind, so good enough for me, I guess. What I did love, though, was Nahido and Go Yurim's, like, sudden best friendship. Like, the speed at which it occurred. Wonderful, fantastic, amazing. I love that whole sequence. In general, I love how the squad has finally formed. I wish we saw more of Ji Sung-won, aside from the whole episode that she kind of got to herself. Like, I love her academic overachiever existential crisis and her social justice rebellion thing. Like, I could watch an entire movie, just a movie maybe, of her navigating her life and her boredom with it, okay? We love Ji Sung-won. She's the best. In general, though, I feel like I am not as emotionally invested in this show because I don't participate in any of the discourse or seek any information about the symbolism or anything. Like, I'm just watching it, right? I'm not here for the whole experience, but I'm still enjoying it. And look, me as a person, I can only be extremely invested in one show at a time. Like, I can only say, God, I love this show. I will think about it constantly, only with one thing at a time. I'm a loyal, obsessed person, okay? And what am I obsessed with? Business Proposal. You know it. This is the show for me. I am healthily obsessed with this, okay? It brings me joy. I simply do not care about what others say about it or the tropes or, like, problematic power imbalance, blah, blah. Like, I'm sorry. You are criticizing the tropes, but it is what it is. They are doing a lot better, really, than 2016, 2010 dramas, okay? I love the show. More thoughts coming. A review episode is coming. I will commit to this and say that I will have a review episode for Business Proposal. Can you believe it? We're gonna do it. But yeah, this is the show that I absolutely love right now. So, two shows that just started last week and that I will not talk much about because I will do a first impressions episode. We have soundtrack number 1 and Pachinko. So, I won't say much about them because I will be reviewing them. So far, though, I will say Pachinko deserves all the hype. Like, I genuinely did not feel 3 hours passing by as I watched it. Like, I just sat there and just kept watching. It was pretty great. We'll see what happens when the director changes. Because I think the first 3 episodes had the same director. And so I really felt the pace was engaging. But this is not a K-drama, you know. It's an American-produced, American-written drama, if I'm right. So, yeah, that's gonna be interesting. So we'll see. And soundtrack number 1, well, it's pretty. It's simple, and I think that's all it wants to do. So it's doing perfectly fine for me. No thoughts yet. We only have like 40 minutes of content so far. So there's really not much to say about it. And the finished show that I'm currently watching is Temperature of Love. Yes, actually, this is, in fact, my 3rd Yang Sejong drama of the year. And you're right, I am completing all of his filmography, okay? There's not a lot, and I think I will like most of them. I have liked all of them so far. So this one, though, I do not have high hopes. I always thought that he and So Yoon-jin would have had chemistry in Dr. Romantic if they weren't written to be like pseudo-siblings-ish. And I'm sure the casting director of Temperature of Love thought the same, and that's why he put them together a year after Dr. Romantic. We love to see it. I tried this back in 2020, but I think I dropped it after 2 episodes. I think I just had a bad feeling about it. And I was right. That's what everyone's saying, okay? But we'll see how far I can go. Like, honestly, my tastes have changed. And I'm really aiming a lot lower recently. So we'll see if I at least am able to tolerate this. Because honestly, my standards are not that high anymore. I just want to see Yang Sejong. Honestly, I kind of want to skip scenes and just watch his scenes with So Yoon-jin. Or just for their chemistry, just to see what happens to them. Because I love them both as actors. But we'll see. We'll see where this goes. If I end up dropping this, or if I finish this, after Temperature of Love, I'll be watching Duel and then rewatching Dr. Romantic 1. And then maybe I'll try Saimdang Memoir of Colors. Although, like, Yang Sejong is just a supporting character there. He's just a flashback, a younger version. We'll see. But yes, I will be finishing Yang Sejong's filmography. By hook or by crook, it's gonna happen. He is also my other obsession. I'm going through my An Yosop and Yang Sejong phase right now. So imagine my happiness, like, seeing them in Still 17, not realizing that that had happened before Dr. Romantic 2, obviously, and that they were actually super close and cute. Yes, I will be rewatching his scenes also in Dr. Romantic 2 after I watch Dr. Romantic 1. We'll see. But yes, this is the quarter, the half year possibly of Yang Sejong for me.
이건 누가 봐도 사랑일 텐데 종일 함께면 질릴 텐데
So yeah, that's it for me today. The first quarter of this year was definitely a very slow first quarter. I think last year in 2021, I finished like 15 dramas in the first 3 months, and now I did half of that. But who cares? Life is not a race. You are not a race car. I think I found a few old gems. That's it. Although I am happy that I am branching out of my previous tastes and trying different shows out. Because, like, recently I have this frustration with everything trying to be, you know, profound and beautiful and healing, caring so much. Like, right now I'm just tired. Like, that's been the trend recently and I'm done with it. So I am, quote unquote, aiming lower. But that's also very condescending. I don't know what to term it, but I'm going through a phase, okay? But I am enjoying things every now and then. The ongoing shows right now, they're okay. I'm glad I genuinely love something. That's fun for me. Because Business Proposal is truly the only thing in life that brings me joy. The happiness I feel when I'm watching that show, it's just an hour of me like smiling at the TV. It's like a mindfulness exercise. Nothing in the world exists outside of me and Business Proposal whenever I watch that show. It's just my favorite. But yeah, enough of me. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you soon. Thanks for tuning in. Feel free to leave a comment, like, subscribe, follow, and tell me what you thought about today's episode. See you soon!